Hello, I'm Charles Mahood.
And I'm Seth Wolfmeyer. Welcome to TMN Television on April 13th.
Tonight, we learn about a controversy with two speakers coming to campus.
Later, we look at one of Kirksville's more unique dining experiences.
Also, stay tuned for our Truman Sports update. These stories and more on TMN Television. You don't want to miss this.
Truman College Republicans brought in Robert Spencer, an advocate for the counter-jihad movement, to speak tonight at Violet Hall. Many organizations on campus, including the Muslim Student Association, have spoken against Spencer coming to speak. The College Republicans were allocated $3,000 from the Funds Allotment Council to bring a speaker to campus. MSA has also allocated $3,000 to bring their own speaker, Faizan Saeed, the executive director on the Council of American Islam Relations, St. Louis, tonight at 6:30 before Spencer. Both organizations have asked for peaceful protest, if any. Director of the Department of Public Safety, Sarah Wolfmeyer, said law enforcement from DPS and the Kirksville Police Department would be at the events to scan all attendees with metal detector wands and that no bags of any kind would be permitted in the room.
The third death of an AKL fraternity member occurred at the AKL house last week. The student was found by fraternity members early Thursday morning, April 6th, after what Adair County Coroner Brian Noe reported as a suicide. He was a first-year Truman student who did not live at the AKL house. Noe says he doesn't see any signs of foul play after an early autopsy. An investigation is ongoing. Kirksville police are following up on leads regarding the death of the student. If you have any information regarding this case, the Kirksville police urge you to call 660-785-6945. And if you or anyone you know is experiencing suicidal thoughts or behaviors, be sure to call the Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255.
PRISM and student government are working together to create an LGBTQ+ resource center on campus. The plans for the center were discussed a year and a half ago, but have since been delayed multiple times. PRISM Exec Board member Micah Smith says PRISM was mainly looking for a small space that Truman could have put their name on that assisted LGBTQ+ students on campus. Smith says the center was supposed to be implemented fall of 2016, and it is unclear to PRISM why there has been a delay. Smith says the organization was offered an online space this past year, but have turned it down in an effort to get a physical LGBTQ+ center. Smith says there is a fairly large LGBTQ+ population on campus, and he thinks the resource center would do a lot of good for the community.
Not everyone wants to come to PRISM or Trans Support Group, and so this provides a more centralized outlet for people who are LGBT identifying, but don't necessarily want to be in a club, but they need a place to seek support also. And this also allows us to have a support system that's very physical and easy to get to, and something that Truman could put their name on and advertise as part of recruiting and stuff like that.
Coming up, we look at a new restaurant on the banks of the Chariton River.
First, let's take a look at this week's forecast.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
After the United States launched 59 Tomahawk missiles on a Syrian airfield April 6, relations have become strained between the U.S. and Russia, according to a CNN report. The U.S. strike comes after one of the worst chemical bombings on the rebel-held area April 4th, according to the New York Times. The chemical bombing left more than 80 dead, according to CNN. The United States has tried to use the bombings as an ultimatum in order to get Russia on the side of the international community, according to the report.
David Dow is taking action against United Airlines after reaccommodations left Dow unconscious and battered. Before takeoff on Sunday, April 9th, United Airlines Flight 3411 had to deplane 4 passengers to make room for staff because the flight had been overbooked. One passenger, David Dow, was asked multiple times to deplane, but refused because the doctor had to see some patients on Monday. Airport police were called to remove Dow from the plane. After a short altercation, the airport police forcibly removed Dow, leaving him unconscious and bleeding. Dow has now filed a bill of discovery demanding that all evidence be documented and preserved. United Airlines CEO Oscar Munoz has apologized for the incident and has said no one should be treated that way.
Alabama Governor Robert Bentley resigned Monday, April 10th. Bentley's resignation comes on the heels of accusations in which the former governor used state funds to pay for an alleged affair with a former political advisor. Prior to the announcement that Bentley would resign, he pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanors. The Alabama legislature planned to impeach Bentley for the misuse of state funds. Bentley is the 3rd Alabama governor since 1990 to be convicted of criminal charges.
According to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, St. Louis is suing the NFL due to the relocation of the Rams football team. The suit, filed April 12th, stated that the league violated its contractual duties to the city, and the Rams and the NFL intentionally made false statements along with several other claims. St. Louis claims that it lost $1.85 million to $3.5 million in amusement and ticket tax revenue, as well as $7.5 million in property tax and $1.4 million in sales tax revenue. NFL spokesperson Brian McCarthy said in an email to the Post-Dispatch that there was no legitimate basis for the lawsuit and that the NFL was fair and honest at all times with the local and state officials. Stay tuned for your Truman Sports Update.
We will be right back. As always, your Truman Sports Update is brought to you by Hardee's. The Truman Tennis team had its senior day last weekend when they hosted William Jewell College and Rockhurst University. 3 men and 3 women played their final matches on Truman Tennis courts. Ryan Bunslinger, Travis Hopkins, William Reynolds, Laura Jin, Marisa Tomei, and Elise Musso were recognized before the meet. The men lost to both opponents, while the women beat William Jewell and lost to Rockhurst.
After 8 straight games on the road, the Truman Baseball team returned home last weekend to host a 4-game series with Maryville University. The Bulldogs won Game 1 2-0 after senior third baseman Jason Priest drove in both runs. The team then traded comeback victories the next 2 games, with the Saints winning Game 2 6-5 and the Bulldogs winning Game 3 4-3. Truman was then shut out in Game 4 5-0, bringing their overall record to 10-23.
The Truman Softball team split a Saturday doubleheader with the University of Missouri St. Louis, then swept their doubleheader with Maryville University the next day. They lost Game 1 5-3 to the Tritons in 8 innings, but rebounded with 9 runs in the second game. Bulldog pitchers Nicole Simpson, Alisa Hadjuk, and Lauren Dale limited the Saints to 1 run in both games. The Bulldogs have won 7 of their 10 April games.
The Truman track and field team collected 3 gold medals and achieved 18 personal bests last Saturday at the Central Missouri University Invite. The women won the team title, while the men placed 4th. The Truman gold medal winners were sophomore Taj Gayfield in men's hurdles and sophomore Cassidy Smestad in the discus and senior Erica Beck in the high jump. Smestad set a Division II provisional mark in the shot put.
This has been your Truman Sports Update by Hardee's.
Stay tuned after the break. We'll be right back.
An epidemic.
It's infectious.
Like a disease, spreading to every university across the country.
It affects every community,
every campus,
every student.
It can leave its victims feeling hopeless,
confused,
scared,
alone.
Approximately 95% of these cases go unreported.
It's time to get serious about ending sexual assault.
Be the one to start the conversation.
Be the one to report a sexual assault.
Be the one to know you are not alone.
1 in 5 women.
1 in 16 men are affected by sexual assault in college.
Be the one to support those affected.
Be the one to ask if they're all right.
Be the one to ask for help.
Truman provides confidential and non-confidential resources to anyone impacted by sexual assault.
Be the one to say no.
Be the one to intervene when consent hasn't been given.
When consent can't be given.
Be the one to not blame the victim.
Be the one to get your friends home safe. Be the one to tell them they've had too much to drink.
Be the one to survive, to thrive,
to advocate. Be the one to cultivate a culture of respect,
of bravery,
of responsibility,
of dignity,
of courage,
of accountability,
of honesty,
of trust,
of hope.
Be the one to pursue a safer campus.
Be the one to stop sexual assault.
Fort Chariton, a restaurant located on the banks of the Chariton River and 20 minutes from Kirksville, has been open for a little over 2 years now. This eatery provides customers with a unique dining experience. TMN's Rita Hansch has the story.
Located in Yarra, Missouri, less than 10 miles south of Kirksville on the Chariton River, you will drive down a gravel road and stumble upon a unique restaurant known as Fort Chariton. Equipped with home cooking, one-of-a-kind interior design, and friendly faces. Manager Angela Schultz says Fort Chariton is the perfect weekend destination, as they also offer a campground where people can hook up their RV or even go tent camping.
Most business is done from Friday around 5 o'clock till Sunday evening when we close at 9 o'clock. We're a weekend destination.
But this restaurant hadn't always been what it stands as today. In fact, Schultz says it used to be a roadhouse.
This was originally a roadhouse. It was started 40 years ago. We're now standing in what was the convenience store. It's now the bar. And there was a hall. There wasn't originally a kitchen here. People did potlucks and they came with their music. And over the years, people have added onto the property or to the building. And the only roof and accommodations that Grizz and I added were the smokehouse and more restrooms on the north end.
Schultz and other manager Bill Grizz Adams have worked with Truman State students in the past year and a half since they first opened to host several events at the fort. These include fraternity and sorority luncheons. The fort is always open for more reservations. Whether you're hosting an event or just stopping by for a fresh tenderloin sandwich, Fort Chariton, or what managers call a chain of one, is a restaurant that you do not want to pass up. For the Truman Media Network, I'm Rita Hansch.
Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. For complete coverage, be sure to stay tuned to KTRM and also pick up a copy of the Index. Also, check out our news content on tmn.truman.edu. Be sure to check out the new variety show, Segments.
You can also follow TMN on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for breaking news updates. And if you missed a part of the broadcast tonight, check out TMN TV on YouTube. From all of us at TMN, thank you for tuning in and have a great rest of the week.